Hey guys, what's up? So, I decided to film another video. I'm outside though. I decided to come out into the courtyard and I'm really paranoid that the wind is going to be too loud for the speaker, but I've fucking sound checked it like 10 times. Did. And it's fine. So, anyway, um, I first wanted to say thank you to everybody for all the support, and like I got a lot of messages from people saying how much the video um, meant to them, and that's awesome. Like I'm glad that some people could relate, or like in some way or another, maybe their path or their same situation didn't happen to them, but it was something similar, and um, that's the whole point I wanted to do, was just making videos here and there and putting stuff out, is just to relate with people and to tell my story and either make it like funny or inspiring. I'm not quite sure. But so yeah, anyway, I just decided that I would put something up on my Instagram yesterday asking for questions, because I know that a lot of people had messaged me, so I figured I would just open it up to anyone and everyone. And yeah, hooky. First question I got from a couple people actually was, where did I meet Shaq? And the truth is, Tinder. um, so when I first moved here, my roommate, she had a guy that she was hanging out with and whatnot, and she was away a lot. Like she would travel with him and he would be gone a lot, and her and I were on like opposite work schedules when we were home. So when I was home alone, I was starting to go crazy and like get depressed because I didn't know anyone here yet, and I didn't like have anything to do, and so I resorted to Tinder, originally just to find some bud, and then I just kept the app, and I actually have had Tinder honestly since high school, so like 6 years, but I didn't ever take it seriously or anything like that, or meet up with anyone ever, except this one time I met up with someone in like Pittsburgh years ago. Just went on a date and stuff. Anyway, irrelevant. Doesn't even need to go in there. But I, for the first time ever, actually messaged him first. His profile was just so like articulate, if that makes sense. Like I almost didn't understand even what he was saying because it was that well thought out. And I was like, wow. But me being the fucking goof that I am, I literally think I messaged him and was like, ayo. And I think he like messaged me back and was like, lol, like you're funny, what's up, or something. And we like FaceTimed automatically because he was like afraid I was gonna catfish him and shit. So yeah, but he actually lived in Orlando when I met him, and I lived in St. Petersburg, which is like a little island thing off of Tampa, which is far away from there, a couple hours at least. And so our relationship was long distance at first, and so I would get off work and drive there to see him, or he would come and stay with me sometimes for the weekend for the first few months. But yeah, it was actually Tinder. Second question. Where do I want to go with this one? Siblings. Yes. So people are asking how I have 10 siblings. So yeah, that's interesting. I actually have, my family's like split up, so they're kind of all half, like consider them full siblings. I mean, they've all been my siblings since I was born, and very much are all my full siblings to me. But I sorry, I just read something funny. What was I saying? Okay, so question number 2. I got a lot of questions about how the hell I had a family of 10. Well, you're actually gonna be mind fucked because so it's split up obviously. So my mom's side of the family, I have 3 siblings. I have 2 brothers and a sister, an older brother, and then I have a younger brother and a younger sister. on my mom's side. And then on my dad's side, I have an older brother. I have an older stepbrother. And then the rest I have, it's so hard to keep track. I feel like a shitty person. But, and then I have 4 sisters, right? Taylor, Haley, Lainey, Jaden. Yeah, 4 sisters and a younger brother on my dad's side. And the funny part is, so I've obviously, like, known my siblings and whatnot, but I didn't know about my older brother until I was probably 7, I want to say. I was like 6 or 7 when my dad even found out that he had a son, because full circle shit, my brother actually lived in Florida with his mom, and so we met him when I was like 6 or 7, I want to say, and then that was the only time I ever met him or knew him, you know. But as we got older and technology became a thing and social media, once we both had cell phones and were teenagers, we like would communicate a little bit here and there, and then like on Facebook and stuff. But like a couple years ago, I was actually in Pittsburgh and I was going to a rave. So I was like, you know, with my friends and whatnot, and fucked up. And my brother was in Pittsburgh for a wedding and he wanted to come see me, but I just felt really stupid and nervous because I knew I was going to be fucked up, and I was with my friends and they were going to be fucked up and unpredictable. And honestly, this was my first rave that I ever went to, so I was like nervous to go anyway. And it was a Halloween rave. And so, anyway, he showed up anyway because he's an awesome fucking dude, like, seriously so fucking sweet. And he showed up in his tux and stuff from the wedding. And all these people, like, tripping on acid and shit. And they're like, oh my god, like, are you Donald Trump? And it was fucking hilarious because, no, obviously he's not fucking Donald Trump. But, anyway, yeah, so that's a whole story of how I met my brother for the second time ever at a rave, and it was fucking hilarious. I'm pretty sure, like, I was, like, about to fucking hit him because I thought he was, like, some weirdo because I was, you know, fucked up, and someone's looking at me and they're like, Carly? And I'm like, who the fuck are you? And, yeah. So, anyway, I have a lot of siblings. Most of them are females, so it's actually a really big blessing now that we're all grown. It's fucking awesome, and I miss them, and now that we're all grown, like, it makes me want to move home just because I, like, love them. I miss them so much. Anyway. Next question. How did I meet my roommate for Colorado? So, actually, I'm pretty sure, like, all colleges I thought had this, but it was pretty much like an app, kind of like a Tinder or whatever. It's just like a Facebook app. Like, you create a profile and put your likes and dislikes and interests, hobbies, your major, all that shit. And you kind of just go through and find people. And I was finding, like, either a lot of sorority girls or, like, horse girls. And, like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Horses are cool. I just don't want my room to smell like hay. And that might be really mean. I don't know. I'm sorry. But Colorado State has, like, a really big horse program, and, like, that's all I really knew from Pennsylvania, so I was nervous. And then on top of that, but, like, it's okay because my roommate's parents told her, like, not to be my roommate at first because I was from Pennsylvania and they thought I was gonna be Amish. Yeah. But anyway, my roommate, Madison, she was fucking awesome. I love her. She's still one of my best friends. We stay in contact. But we clicked instantly, dude. Like, seriously, I'm pretty sure she picked me up and we rolled up and smoked and chilled and talked about life, like, all night. And then we went to our orientation, and everyone there thought we, like, seriously, it had been, like, one night, and everyone there thought that we were either, like, sisters or had known each other our whole life because we were that, like, in sync. So it was really cool, and I miss her a lot. She's, like, really sweet, like, funny, ditzy girl, and I'm just, like, a sarcastic asshole, so we're, like, an awesome duo, dude, seriously. Alright, and another question I kept getting was, the process on moving to Florida and how that was, and, like, what I did, and, like, whatever, I don't know. So, basically, me and Annie, we were saving, we were both working and saving, like, all summer, and we saved a couple $1,000s, and, when we packed up to come, we literally packed up camping stuff, our 2 cats, we each had a cat, and, all of our art stuff, because Annie also did art. And so pretty much our car consisted of one bag of clothes for each of us, and then the rest was like boxes of art supplies, canvases, all of anything you could think, just art stuff. And so it took us, I think, like 4 days, a 4-day trip to get down here. And we camped out along the way and like stopped a couple places. And I think like our first weekend here, we had tickets to go to a concert in Orlando. And it's getting so windy, and I'm so scared that you can't hear me. I'm just paranoid. You can hear me fine. But anyway, so we camped out in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. And it's actually a really sad story because one of our cats, like hated being in the car, like hated it so much, and she like hid underneath our seats, and we had so much in our car that we just left her under there, and like she would come and go as she pleased, and they had their like litter box and everything in there. But she fucking like climbed out of the car in the middle of the night, and we didn't know until we were here in Florida. So the first night we were here, we camped out like at the top of Florida somewhere, and like once we got everything out of the car, and like we only had one cat, we were just like looking at each other, and like I don't even think we talked to each other for the whole night because we were just like in that like much shock, like what the fuck, we really fucking left our cat in the Smoky Mountains. Like I don't even want to talk about it because they're known for nothing but fucking big ass bears, and it was just really sad. But yeah, that was just pretty much it. But it takes a lot. You kind of have to plan it. You have to have a lot of balls, because they're like, even up to the morning of getting in the car, we were like, what the fuck are we doing? Should we really do this? And we did, and a lot has happened since being here. So I guess that's the next question, is being scammed and what happened there. So we moved into this apartment that I live in now, actually, and there was a couple that lived next door, and they were really cool, and they had a baby, and they did the same stuff that we did, or so they said. So they told us that they were from Miami, and that they hosted art parties in Miami, and they had an art gallery in Miami, and they had all these connections to huge music festivals all throughout Florida, and that pretty much we could have set up an art Basel event last year, and so I started doing that. And like the wife, she started planning with me. She even ran my social media. She did all of that. And she knew what she was doing, you know, and they both had the same last name and whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And this is a really long story, so I'm trying to make it pretty short for you. But basically what it came down to is me and Annie kind of took them in as family, like we do with anyone. That's the kind of people that we were. And so they started hanging out with us all the time, and they actually were like about to lose their apartment completely, like about to be evicted. And Annie actually was getting her settlement at the time, which was like $100,000. And so when that came into play, they didn't actually get evicted. I think that was also a lie. But she had a huge heart and went and put a down payment on a house, like a 4-bedroom house that we were all going to split rent and live in. And yada yada, a bunch of bullshit happened where they pretty much got into Annie's head so much, telling her that she needed to move home to Pennsylvania to be with her little sister. And she literally was so not herself. That's how much she was in her head. Like, I woke up one morning and she was like, yeah, I bought a ticket, like I leave tonight at 5. And I'm like, okay, like you're grown, I can't say anything, so whatever. So she did. She literally left. And within that time period, they were telling her a bunch of bullshit about me and blah, 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 and pretty much playing us against each other. And then what happened was I just ended up blocking Annie, and me and my boyfriend kind of stopped talking to them. Like, we would just hang out in our room, and he would go to work, I would go to work, and we would ignore them. Until, like, one day I realized, like, there was a lot of red flags. Like, we realized that the husband's last name, like, they weren't actually legally married at all. He didn't even give us his real name. Like, he called himself freaking a name from the state that he lived in. Like, bullshit. All this stuff was just a fucking lie. the couple, or the gallery that they had in Miami, they didn't actually have. They also scammed and stole money from the couple that owned the gallery in Miami. And the wife did have a degree from the Art Institute in Miami, and she forged and photoshopped everything for him. Their pay stubs, their everything. They're complete frauds. So anyway, when I found that out, me and Shaq literally packed up and moved out in the middle of the night so that there was no drama. We didn't even want to confront them. We just packed up and left. And I forgot that Shaq and I got me my passport so that we could go to Jamaica, because he's from Jamaica. He grew up there, lived there his whole life. And we were going to go back last spring. And I completely forgot, because it takes a month to come in the mail. And so we had moved and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And then I actually didn't find out until a couple months later that they had used my passport, my social security number, whatever, all my identification, and opened up new electric bills, like 2 different bills in my name, and then maxed them out and did not pay the bill off. So those were left in my name. They literally used all my identification over the phone, and ended up pretty much using my identity to open up bills because they had maxed out in all of the companies in this city. And so with that happening, it pretty much just spiraled into a lot of negative effect when it came to my credit and my financial status and all of the above there. And then that pretty much goes into how we ended up being homeless for a couple months last year. So we just up and left. We were like, we can't even trust to live with these people. They stole a lot of Annie's money, a lot of her money, and like completely blew it, like on stupid stuff. They were like out doing stuff every day while Shaq and I were just sitting in our room like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, where are they getting all this money? Because we didn't know. We didn't have any idea that they like did all this. And so then when it came down to it, I realized, because the wife, the girlfriend, whatever, was like my friend, or so I thought, and her and I were out one day, and like he like flipped out on her because I was gonna use she left me in the car with her baby while she went to a store, and he flipped out on her and was like, why would you do that? Like, our wallet was in there, you can't trust her, you know what we do, like, why you can't trust anyone. So it made me put like 2 and 2 together, like, what you do, like, you guys just can't be trusted, period. Like, if you can't trust me, like, why are we living together? And like, my boyfriend had seen all these signs for a couple months beforehand, but I'm just like a huge heart, and I'm like, no, like, they just can't open up, and we can't open up to people, and blah, 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 and I just kept trying to give the benefit of the doubt where it shouldn't have been given. And so anyway, we packed up, we moved out in the middle of the night, and we stayed at one of my friend's houses, in her apartment for a little bit, but we couldn't, it's illegal to just live in someone else's apartment, even if they're not there, like, you can't do it. And it was a studio apartment, so her landlord was really nice about it at first, but she was just like, I don't feel comfortable with 2 people living in a studio apartment. And so we're like, okay, understood, whatever. So we started paying, I got paid weekly then, so we started getting like a motel for like a week at a time. And that was cool because we weren't on the street, but in that time period we had our car broken into by a homeless guy. We had a prostitution ring shut down in the room next door to us in one of the motels. Just motels are really sketchy here in Florida. Like, it's nothing but drug rings or prostitution or just sketchy shit, honestly, everywhere. Crackheads. It's just really not safe, and on top of that, it's not cheap. It's almost like $400 to $500 a week. Okay, so that's like $2,000 a month. So like when you don't have a house to spend $2,000 a month, you have no room to save to get back on your feet. So it was a losing-winning battle. And that's how we ended up living out of his car. Because one weekend, all of the hotels got booked out for Grand Prix. Grand Prix is like a world-known thing, a race that travels from city to city all around the world. It is held here in St. Pete every year, and those hotels are booked out a year in advance. And we didn't know until the morning of, because it obviously wasn't on our agenda. Because we also still had to work still. So we go to work all day and then come back and go to sleep and just hope that somewhere along the time we'd make up some extra money to save. And it just wasn't happening. So we ended up starting to live like minimalists. So what we did is we went and got like pretty much camping supplies, and we started sleeping out of his truck. And we would, put all the seats down, and it was actually kind of cool as fuck. I loved it because I want to live out of a camper one day. I want to live out of a camper and have a tree house. Those are my goals. That's another question, so we're gonna knock it out right now. Goals in life are to live out of a tree house in a camper and have my own fucking fashion line online. And yeah. So anyway, we started living out of his truck, and he kind of hated it. He just hated it for the fact that he loves me and I'm a female, and he thinks that there's a lot more that I need. And he's right, there is, but it was cool for the time period that we had to do it for. And we would put down our seats and everything, and eat out or eat whatever we needed, obviously. Like, that was never an issue. And then there was a campground that we would stay at sometimes, but every single day we would go there to shower and get ready, do our laundry, all that type of stuff. And it was out on the beach, so we pretty much just lived on the beach, and it was, like, dope as shit. Like, I love to wake up and hear the fucking waves crashing and the birds and just all that. It was dope. But there was also sketchy parts. So, like, where we'd pull up to sleep, because it's illegal to just sleep in your car, there would be what we called bush vappers, which were men, usually gay men. Nope, I have no prejudice, but these are a lot of times gay men that won't come out yet, or have families, or have whatever else. And they'll literally meet up through Craigslist online and come and meet up and, do the damn thing behind a bush or in their car, or they'll orgy it out, and yeah, so like there was a couple times where I woke up one time to Shaq like literally like running down on some guy because he was watching us sleep, like jacking off, like not okay. And so there was just a lot of crazy shit, and just a lot of insane things, but it definitely has strengthened our relationship to the max, and we've grown so much and know more about each other than we could ever imagine, more than most people will ever know, I bet. So yeah, that was that. Road trip stories. Okay, so there's too many to put in just this. I could make a whole video about my road trip stories, but I'll pretty much just talk about bus stations because they're sketchy as fuck. So like you have layovers or whatever you want to call it in between stops all the whole way across the country, and these Greyhound bus stations are sketchy as fuck. I don't know, they're just really sketchy. Like, they're not comfortable, the seats aren't nice, there's not nice bathrooms, nothing like that. I went into one time and the girl was talking to herself like a fucking maniac in the mirror, obviously with mental illness, which is sad but scary at the same time when people have drugs involved and they're just left out here on the streets. She's in there shaving her head over the sink, no pants on, like her pants are down around her ankles. I'm like, I'll hold my pee, I'm good. I don't know, I had like severe anxiety on a couple of the trips that I took, and like I wouldn't have weed or anything, and I'd be by myself, and like halfway across the trip I'd start freaking out, and I would just have to start resorting to literally asking people about weed and if they'd smoke me up. So I luckily met some cool people, and I met some weird people. I smoked with a guy that was like, yeah, I'm a veteran of 15 years, but I just got out of prison because I fucking killed somebody, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, thanks, have a good day. But I don't know, I loved it because like I grow tremendously on one trip every time. Like, my mind would expand so much just because of the people I met and the things I'd see. And yeah, so I do recommend, honestly, traveling alone at some point in your life. Like, whenever you get to that point of confidence or impulsiveness, I guess, is what really led me to do it. But it's seriously like awesome. It helps you find yourself quick. You don't have time to like doubt anything. You're by yourself and you're in the moment at all times, through airports, through bus stations, whatever. And yeah, so I definitely think that it was one of the biggest things that helped me learn the most in the last like 5 years. And then I just kind of wanted to like end off talking about my fashion stuff, because I really haven't at all. I have a lot of stuff that are in the works and I haven't really shown anyone but a few close friends and stuff. Um, but pretty much my fashion line is called More Weird, and it's based on life is fucking weird and it gets weirder, and that's just that. But I would like you guys to leave like comments underneath this and let me know if you're interested in seeing like all of the things that I have for lookbooks and inspiration, and like the styles I have put together that I'm basing everything off of. This actually tomorrow, Friday, I am going to start like sewing myself. So I'm going to be getting all the fabric and everything to really flourish this whole line that I have planned out. Right now I have a lot of vintage and reworked things that I've hand painted or resewn or redid some things to, but my whole line is going to be vintage, thrifted, and refurbished clothing. So everything is either reused, recycled, hand-me-down, thrifted. There are obviously going to be brand new things that I do buy and will do custom paints on. But then there are also going to be screen printed things just with my logo and some of the graphic design stuff that I've been working on. So I'm really excited for this stuff. I just haven't shown anyone because I'm really nervous. Like I said, I've obviously extended my creativity to other people a lot in the last few years, and like things that get stolen, and those people that stole my identity and all that, they literally host art parties like once a month right here in my city still. So I don't trust letting things out, but I would like to start having just people be involved with this fashion line. I'd like some input, and obviously want everyone to support it. And yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about all the questions I had and thank everyone, and like let you know I really appreciate the kind words that I got last week, because it took a lot for me to really put that out. Like I've been wanting to, and I just was scared, I guess, and I've been wanting to film this video and I kept putting it off because I overthink everything, and yeah. So anyway, leave some comments and let me know like what you guys want to see. I want to start vlogging. I literally do everything by myself on my days off because Shaq's away at work, and I'd like to just kind of make my vlog my friends for now, because I don't like humans. I don't really want to meet new ones, truthfully. I know that sounds awful, but if I'm supposed to, it'll happen, right? Okay, so anyway, yeah, like next week I want to go thrift shopping and kind of make a vlog of just my travels downtown and thrift shopping and just some of the styles that I'm putting together. And yeah, so leave a comment, let me know if you're interested, and I hope that you like listening to me talk bullshit. Alright, ciao!